Guys, so basically getting back to what I was talking about earlier in the video, basically after the story about like my ego, um, basically I just wanted to say I was able to turn off my bad ego, after the ego death this time, that I did on day one of my third eye opening exercise. And, I was a lot more calm, serene, and everything like that, or whatever. And I was put instead of my nice, relaxed ego and stuff like that. Now, being in my nice and relaxed ego, I am able to basically put aside worries and things that are bothering me a lot of time and stuff like that, which is good. And, even though, I had my neighbor upstairs who was stomping around above my head to be annoying and stuff, I was just, I feel like I was more present after my ego death and stuff like that, more of a clean slate, which felt really good to be and stuff like that. And I think that I would like to be in my nice ego, on that clean slate level a lot. But I do know that, life does happen. There are things that are gonna get to you and or, get to me and stuff. And so guys, I realized that, it can be hard to be present in the moment, like you are after your ego death and like I was, But, I think that, you know, in the like future or even like even today, um after I finish recording, the other videos that I have to do, I'm gonna try to live in the moment and enjoy the moments that I'm experiencing and stuff like that, and not worry so much about the things that I cannot control and stuff like that or whatever that are thrown at me and stuff or whatever. So, after my ego death, I just felt at ease. There are a lot of people who would get scared about, you know, doing an ego death because they think it means that they are going to die. But in truth, you're not going to die, Basically, what happens is that you are basically, you're reset like a computer, and you are just in a state of just taking notice of what your present moment is like, and not letting the annoying little things get to you. And at that point, I would say you're able to just think through problems that you have, and stuff like that without anything getting in the way to bother you and stuff like that. Um, I would recommend an ego death to anybody who feels like there's a whole lot of negative stuff getting into them and they find themselves always on the defensive all the time, and stuff like that. I would recommend them do that because you get reset to a state where you're more calmer and better, and stuff like that, and you can contemplate through things. Some people, they contemplate things through meditation, and that's a good time to do it as well, too. But when I'm mentioning meditation, I am meaning, meditation where you yourself, you are basically you're focusing on what's happening in the moment, and you are not letting your mind run away or have a bunch of stuff on your mind. You're just present and you're just at peace and contemplating. And one thing I want to say about meditation, is when I say meditation, I'm not talking about the term, that people in Christianity would term meditation. Um, to me, in Christianity, there is no such thing as meditation in Christianity. The reason why is because I'm a former Christian, and when I was in church, there was never any mention of meditation. And I attended a Catholic church, so you know, basically, the Catholic Church is like the bare rules of Christianity, that have been around for for a while and stuff, and you know nobody in my church ever mentioned the word meditation. That was never something. It was never anything we talked about when we were talking about the Bible in any sense of the word and stuff like that. So, I find it interesting how these days, you know, when I go on the internet and I type in the word meditation, there is Christian meditation and stuff or whatever. There basically is no such thing as Christian meditation. Meditation does not subscribe to a religion. Meditation is a natural practice that, people do unknowingly, where they take time to themselves and they contemplate and stuff like that, and are able to find, solutions to their problems and stuff like that. But meditation is not necessarily deemed by any set religion and stuff like that or whatever. Now, some people can make the case for it when it comes to um, Hinduism or Buddhism, because as a part of their faith, they do meditate and stuff like that or whatever, in Hinduism and Buddhism. So yes, they can make claim to meditation, but people have been meditating for millennia, and it has been something where, people have gone off to themselves and stuff and have contemplated things and stuff like that. There have been a lot of um, there have been a lot of spiritual teachers who have talked about that. I wouldn't say religious leaders, I would say spiritual teachers, because spiritual teachers are the ones who are teaching you about, they're teaching you about your experience. Like if you think about the Buddha, for example. Now, people would say the Buddha is tied to, Buddhism or whatever, because, Buddhism. But Buddha didn't really, say, okay, I'm going to create Buddhism. Well, no. People created a religion off of some of the things that he did and said and stuff like that. That's what they did. But Buddha himself didn't say, okay, I'm going to just create this religion and stuff like that. Now, if I'm wrong, definitely point me to some information that you found that suggests that Buddha said, okay, I'm meditating on top of this mountain, and okay, this is where I'm, establishing that I'm creating Buddhism right now. You know what I'm saying? And also with Hinduism, if you have information about somebody saying, okay, I'm creating Hinduism right now, and stuff, I'm doing this right now, then, let me know where, you find original text that says that when they were meditating, they came up with these, types of religions and stuff. The same thing also, there might be some people who are Christian who are watching this, and they're going to say, well, Jesus, he was a, or he was a religious teacher or spiritual teacher, and, Jesus, he meditated, or whatever. I think they're going to say 40 days or 40 nights or something like that. But Jesus himself in the Bible, if you look anywhere in it, he never said, I came to establish Christianity anywhere in that book. Nowhere in the book did Jesus say anything about Christianity. Okay? He didn't say anything about that. Jesus came to teach people things. And what a lot of people don't know about Jesus is that Jesus taught people stuff that was, he taught in two different ways. Jesus taught his disciples things, okay? And he taught the masses things, okay? So what the masses saw Jesus teach was they saw Jesus perform miracles, right? But the disciples themselves got some information from Jesus about secret teachings that the masses did not get. And Jesus knew that the masses would only accept certain teachings, and that his disciples would accept the other type of teachings. Now, this would be something that would be, and you can kind of refer to, well, I guess you couldn't refer to it, but Jesus just taught separate teachings. Now, Jesus also taught in the Bible, he spoke about parables, and basically, I guess you could say Jesus taught the masses just, general things, and he taught his disciples the taught them the insider information to understanding parables that, were in religious texts that people could not understand and stuff like that. This is why when Jesus speaks to his disciples, he speaks to them in a different way than he speaks to, say, a regular garden variety person who's going to be dazzled by miracles, type thing. Because with his disciples, he asked them things that, try to get them to think and to come up with answers and stuff. That's why Jesus speaks to his disciples the way that he does, And, when he speaks to someone that's a regular person, he will, he would just talk to them regularly. He will not speak a parable to the regular person that'll be dazzled by miracles because they will not understand it. But his disciples, he expects more from them because of the type of I would say, the type of, discipleship he has with his disciples, the type of teachings that only they were worthy to get that the masses were not able to get. And this itself can be confirmed by the Bible and stuff like that or whatever. And this is one of the reasons why when a lot of people speak, they say, oh, it's a parable and stuff like that. You got people who will read a parable in the Bible and stuff like that, but on the surface it says one thing, but below the surface it says something else. And parables exist because there's secret information in there for the people who are walking the spiritual path, and they would be able to uncover those deep spiritual truths that a regular garden variety person would not understand. A regular person could read the parable, but they just may take it at face value. But a person who is, studying the religious truth and they're walking that spiritual path and stuff like that, they will be able to uncover that hidden information that's inside the parable and stuff like that, if that makes sense. And my example of a parable would be, which came first, the chicken or the egg? That would be a parable. And you know how you have people arguing back and forth over, somebody's going to say, oh, well, the egg came first. Oh, the chicken came first. But here's the thing about which came first, chicken or the egg. On face value, if you look at it, you just look at it as, as basically, okay, this is something simple. Here's a chicken, here's an egg. Okay. For the normal person, they just, you'd have two sides with normal responses. One person who's of normal thought would think, oh, well, the chicken came first, because the chicken laid the egg. And on the other side, you have another normal person who would say, oh, well, the egg came first, and they wouldn't have any reason to back it up. These would be, the two, the two answers. Chicken came first or the egg came first. Now, if you are a spiritual person and somebody asks you, which came first, the chicken or the egg, and you're, on the spiritual path, what you could say to somebody is that, well, let's think about, the chicken and the egg scenario and which came first. Okay. So, the spiritual person would start talking about, well, here's this egg. This egg is related to creation and stuff like that. And, inside this egg is the possibility of life inside of it. And, once this life starts and begins, this, little chick is going to be on the course of life where they're going to, they will eventually grow up to be a chicken, but they have to go through, the lessons in order to get to the wisdom of being a chicken. Okay. Which is what somebody would say about the egg and about the chicken, the little chick that's going to be born, and, the things that's going to happen to that chicken, the lessons it has to learn in order to become, a chicken that can survive and that is able to eventually have chicks of its own. Now, on the other side, and I'm making it more spiritual, I guess, than I have to with the egg, okay? But this is just due to kind of how I am. Now, along with the chicken, okay? With the chicken, Um, Basically, the chicken side of it would be, well, here you have this chicken, and you can think of the chicken as being, the chicken is a mother, right? And the chicken's a mother to this egg, you know, and this egg cannot survive without the mother. It's just like, you know, ladies, if you're watching, if you've ever had a child before, and you were pregnant, before you had the child, you were carrying that baby, right? Well, the baby was dependent on you for, its resources and stuff like that. It needed you. And it needed you while it was inside your womb and when it got outside your womb, especially, especially if you were breastfeeding, and also if you're just taking care of the baby overall. You know what I'm saying? So, that chicken, that mama, is basically that it's basically that, parent that's there to make sure that, you know, that little chick is able to survive, um, and be kept warm long enough so it can be born, so that, the little chick can eventually get to the point where it can go and it can grow up and be a chicken like its mama, or its, or its father chicken or daddy chicken or whatever, type thing and stuff like that, or whatever. So yeah, that is something that, is, the spiritual side and stuff like that. Now, the mother is always going to be there for the little chick, and it's going to be there even when the chick grows up. It's still going to be there. And you can also bring in the father chicken. The father chicken, the rooster, he's still going to be there too, because he's there, protecting, and making sure the mother and, the egg, or the mommy chicken and the baby chick are going to be okay, once the little chick is born. You know what I'm saying? So you do need, the presence of mother and father, male and female. You do need that in order for, you know, their young to be able to, be okay and live and stuff. There's a lot of people who are going to disagree and say, well, the mama can take care of the baby on her own and stuff like that. Yeah, and stuff, and try to protect it too. But if you've ever seen animals out in the wild, and you have, a mommy cheetah, and she has her babies. If it's just her and her babies, she has to leave her babies to go out and find food and stuff like that. And she can't be there to protect them. But if there was a daddy cheetah that was there, he can, basically, he can go off and find the food while the mama's there nurturing the babies and making sure they're okay and playing with them and teaching them and stuff like that. And you need both of those parents. It is tough if you just have, one, um, one parent there. The same thing is the case when it comes to, a child, a human child that is brought into this world, and it only has, one parent, either be just the mother or just the father, you know what I'm saying, type thing. The same thing going back in the wild, if you just had, you had a daddy cheetah and he has the little babies and stuff like that, right? Maybe the mom got killed while she was going to, get the food by something else. So now you have the daddy cheetah with the little cheetah babies and stuff like that. And yes, he will have to leave them in order to go find food. You know what I'm saying? So, it is helpful to have the mother and the father and having that male and female energy when it comes to bringing about the young. The same thing when it comes to having a, human child or children. The same thing happens. You need the mother and the father there, to help raise the young, because the father can provide a certain amount of insight to the young, and then the mother can provide a certain amount of insight. I mean, what if you have, a girl child, you have a girl child, you have a boy child, right? Well, the mother can tell the girl child certain information that she's going to need specifically with her body. And then, the father can tell the boy child information about, his body, cleanliness, and everything else like that. But, the mother can have insight to teach the son about when it comes to him talking to girls and stuff like that, or trying to dress up for girls and look cute for girls, or if he's, writing a letter to, a girl he likes or whatever type thing, or, talking about girls in general, to her son. Or if you have a father is going to be there to give insight to a girl, that, she wouldn't be able to get, about men. The father would tell his daughter you know, about boys and what kind of boys stay away from, and what what boys find cute, like with girls wearing dresses, different types of stuff, but both parents are needed when it comes to children. The same thing when it comes to animals in the wild. The mother and the father is needed for the young, as well as the same thing the mother and father are needed when it comes to you know the mother and father having children and stuff. And I know I started off talking about which came first, chicken or the egg and stuff, but if you're a spiritual person, you're going to take it down to that level, and you're going to go farther and beyond what somebody else would just think, and that's kind of how I am and stuff with stuff. So, guys, yeah, so this video, the beginning of it, basically what it was supposed to be basically about, but I added into, this video was about day one of me opening my third eye, and the exercise I went through, which was the ego death and what happened as a result. And I kind of went back to an old ego death and talking about ego, all that stuff. But I like to give you guys a lot of information in my videos and stuff like that, because I think that's what makes it all the more interesting, and it keeps you guys, interested in what I'm talking about and stuff like that, or whatever. So thank you guys for watching this video on day one of my third eye opening exercise. See you in my next video when I talk about day two of my third eye opening exercise. And in that video, that one's going to be shorter. I hope it will be shorter, but maybe I'll have information that can be more helpful to explain for you guys. Okay, so thank you guys for watching. Bye bye.